Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanochari Munatira Vanochari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe Jaya. Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Jaya Goranitai Goranitai, Goranitai, Jaya Goranitai, Jaya. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya. Nichago Haribo, 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 Nichago Haribo, Nichago. Go Premanandi. Okay, Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita today, this evening. We're on the 6th chapter, and we do the invocation mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as it is, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki. Reading from the 6th chapter entitled Dhyana Yoga, and we're on text 40, and I'll just read the Romanized Sanskrit. Hare Krishna. So, Etan, actually wrong verse, wait there, text 40. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Pata Neva Numa Numeritra, Vinashya Tasya Vidyate, Nahi Kalyana Krit Kantit, Durgatim Tata Gachati. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Pata Neva Namu Yatra Vinashya Stasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kaschit Durgatim Tata Gachati. Would anyone like to recite the verse? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Patanaiva numana tra. Vidyate. Naki kalya kritkasi. Durgatin tatagachati. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Patanevam Numanatra Nijatasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyena Kritkasit Durgatam Chati. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Partha, O son of Prita, Naiva, never is it so. Iha, in the material world, Na, never. Amutra, in the next life. Vinayasya, destruction. Tasya, his. Vidyate, exists. Na, never. He, certainly. Kalyakrit, one who is engaged in auspicious activities. Kansit, anyone? Durgatam, to degradation. Tata, my friend. Gachati, goes. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, son of Prita, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction, either in this life, in this world, or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Actually, we could recite that together. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, son of Prita, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So we're reading from the purport now by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Purport. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17, Sri Narada Muni instructs Vyasadeva as follows. I'm not so good at Sanskrit, so I'm just going to go straight into the English translation. If someone gives up all material prospects and takes complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a neophyte may fully engage in his occupational duties and yet not gain anything. For material prospects, there are many activities, both scriptural and customary. A transcendentalist is supposed to give up all material activities for the sake of spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness. One may argue that by Krishna consciousness, one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed. But if one does not attain such a perfectional stage, then he loses both materially and spiritually. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one has to suffer the reactions for not executing prescribed duties. Therefore, one who fails to discharge transcendental activities properly becomes subjected to these reactions. The Bhagavatam assures the unsuccessful transcendentalists that there need be no worries. even though he may be subjected to the reaction for not perfectly executing prescribed duties, he is still not a loser, because auspicious Krishna consciousness is never forgotten, and one so engaged will continue to be so even if he is low-born in the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duties need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness. The purport may be understood as follows. Humanity may be divided into two sections, namely the regulated and the non-regulated. Those who are engaged simply in bestial sense gratification without knowledge of their next life or spiritual salvation belong to the non-regulated section, and those who follow the principles of prescribed duties in the scriptures are classified amongst the regulated section. The non-regulated section, both civilized and non-civilized, educated and uneducated, strong and weak, are full of animal propensities. Their activities are never auspicious, because while enjoining the animal propensities of eating, sleeping, and defending and mating, they perpetually remain in material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, those who are regulated by scriptural injunction and who thus rise gradually to Krishna consciousness certainly progress in life. Those who are following the path of auspiciousness can be divided into three sections, namely the followers of scriptural rules and regulations who are enjoying material prosperity, those who are trying to find ultimate liberation from material existence, and those who are devotees in Krishna consciousness. Those who are following the rules and regulations of the scriptures for material happiness may be further divided into two classes. Those who are fruitive workers and those who desire no fruit for sense gratification. Those who are after fruitive results for sense gratification may be elevated to a higher standard of life, even to the higher planets, but still, because they are not free from material existence, they are not following the truly auspicious path. The only auspicious activities are those which lead one to liberation. Any activities which is not aimed at ultimate self-realization or liberation from the material bodily concept of life is not at all auspicious. Activities in Krishna consciousness is the only auspicious activity, and anyone who voluntarily accepts all bodily discomforts for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness can be called a perfect transcendentalist under severe austerities. Under severe austerity. And because the Eightfold Yoga system is directed towards the ultimate realization of Krishna consciousness, such practice is all auspicious, and no one who is trying his best in this matter need fear degradation. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutani Shiva Swami Chinamani Om Vishnu. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shavasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So just looking at this translation again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So we're looking at the Bhagavad Gita here, where it's going at the entrance of the Bhagavad Gita. It's covering some very important subject matters. So the first subject, as we understand, is the jiva. There's 5 main subject matters: the jiva, karma, prakriti, kala, and ishvara, the supreme. So the jiva is ourself, the spirit, the actual soul, the bound down jiva in the material world. And the Bhagavad Gita is like a highway code, in a way, to direct us back to our original place, back with the Supreme Lord. And because the world is the material world is actually a very complicated place, as we find out, as we gradually grow in this world. And if one gets a chance to actually take shelter of association devotees and to actually read the scriptures, it's a great fortune. So the main thing is Srila Prabhupada, he explains actually the first steps is understanding that we're not this body, we're a spirit soul, and the body is actually a vehicle, and the soul is the driver. And when the body dies, the soul carries on. But the first thing, in some ways, we would want to find to understand is our relationship with God. This is where the Bhagavad Gita goes into depth. So I'm just thinking about the opening scene with in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, I'm thinking about one of the opening scenes with Sukadeva Goswami and Pariksit Maharaj. And when Sukadeva Goswami, he was only 16 years old, and his qualification as a great pure devotee, as a Uttamadhikari, he was. It shows you in some ways the age of the body doesn't really count to one's spiritual adhikar, one's spiritual qualification. So Sukadeva Goswami, he went to take shelter. Pariksit Maharaj took shelter of Sukadeva Goswami, and Pariksit Maharaj, when he approached him, he's a great king, and Pariksit Maharaj was cursed by Shamaka Muni because he put the snake around his neck. You know this. Some of you may know the story in Srimad Bhagavatam. And when he approached, he only had 7 days to live, and so he could have counteracted his curse. He could have counteracted because he was so spiritually powerful. But he saw it as the will of the Lord, because these is also a very important sort of symptom or a way of one who is taking shelter of Krishna, is that he doesn't try to alter too many things. He will accept what's coming as Krishna's will, And so Pariksit Maharaj, he came to question. He had 7 days left, so he put these 2 main questions. One of the first questions is, what should a man do when he's throughout his life? What's the most important thing that a man should do, or woman? What's the most important thing? And he said, and the other question is, what is the most important thing for someone who's just about to die? So Sukadeva Goswami was very welcoming, and he said, actually, this is a very important question, but they're actually, these 2 questions are one question, because you never know when your time is coming. So the Bhagavad Gita, going into this now, it actually teaches us how to not just live in the world, but also how to work through the world, and also how to leave the world, which is quite in the Western world, it's a very esoteric subject, is so-called death or departure. But back to the point of the 5 subject matters of the jiva, the living entity, the spirit soul, and then there's karma. Karma's our action, our fruit of activities. But out of all the 5, karma's the temporary one. The rest of them are all eternal. Because the jiva, the spirit soul, is actually a part and parcel of Krishna. That's Krishna's energy. We're very small, minute parts of Krishna. And then there's the prakriti. It talks about the material nature. The material world. It seems temporary, which it is actually temporary. But it's the energy when it breaks down, the material energy, when it breaks down beyond all what your eyes can see, it's actually goes back to the spiritual energy, because everything actually comes from Krishna. And then there's kala, the time factor, the eternal time. Time's just relative, really, to our the life we live now. But actually, there's time is actually timeless. Time's eternal, ultimately. We just see it as the setting of the sun. Each day when the sun sets and the sun goes down, another day's gone, But that time is a friend of a devotee as well. Time is our friend, because for someone who isn't so spiritually inclined, I suppose time could be an enemy in a way, because everyone's trying to sort of shortcut and trying to bribe time, but no one thinks time's going to make their life run out. But actually, time always wins in the end. But for a devotee, time's a friend. Time actually checks us, and it keeps us sort of, for devotees to understand. Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda Sitwa Hanuman Shikuranitaya Ki Jai. It reminds us of how short time we got in this world, and also point ourselves more towards spiritual progress. And then there's Ishwara, the Supreme Lord, understanding as a Supreme Personality. Because we're part of the Supreme Lord. We're His servants. We're His sparks. We're just like sparks from the big fire. This is basic stuff. Sometimes we could say, "Oh, yeah, we know this. I know this," but it's easy to forget. We're such small little spirit souls. We're so easily covered in this world. Mamamsa jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatana manasa sistriyani prakritistani kashate. Krishna explains that you're my parts and my eternal fragmental parts and parcels, but you're very small, and you're struggling with the 6 senses, which include the mind. We've got a lot against us in a way. You can't. There's no success story without taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, without actually only taking shelter of Krishna. That's when all the anxiety gets taken away. Otherwise, the world's and life is always full of so many problems. There's problems at every step, danger at every step in this world. Prabhupada explains, you try to fix one thing, you try to make something good on a material platform, and one perfection, there's 1,000 imperfections. There's always a problem. It's the way the material energy works. Material energy is working under Krishna's direction. Maya. Maya's the, personality. She's doing a thankless task, keeping us, what they say, adulterators, the people that turn away from God, actually, helping keep us in check. Because we have a nature to want to step away and be the enjoyers, and that's where all the problems start. That's where the pain starts. Everything we do in this world should be try to remember Krishna and never forget Him. That's why we should always be chanting, and each day we always keep our hand in the bead bag and try and rise early. Each day is a new day, a new start. Srila Prabhupada explained that. He said that sometimes it looks like the devotees are not. Some people might say devotees are not doing anything, but we're very busy. We work hard. We have to work hard, especially on consciousness and spiritual progress. And he said actually, like the ducks, he was looking at the ducks, and he said devotees are like ducks, and he said they're moving around on the water. He said, but underneath their legs are going like anything. He said they're really, yeah. So that's our, we have to put our homework in. Of course, I'm sort of spraying from different subject matters here, but I do notice in the purport that at a certain point, Prabhupada's explaining that what's the benefits of devotional service. We have great fortune to actually do something for the Lord, and it's never lost. So in comparison, sometimes it's even if you're doing something a little bit spiritual, it's 1,000,000 times more than being very successful materially. It doesn't mean you don't have to be successful materially, of course, but it's a case of prioritizing, getting the priorities right, and so it's what's the benefit of Krishna consciousness is the greatest benefit. And but in material life, we use everything in Krishna's service. We don't have to give up anything we do, depending on what it is. But we should just offer whatever we get, whatever money to a certain percentage. We should give it to some projects in Krishna consciousness. If we're working hard, we try to work thinking of Krishna, thinking he's given us the ability. Krishna explains, he's the ability in man. He's our, he gives us all knowledge. So it's actually, Prabhupada explained actually that, spiritual life may be difficult sometimes, but actually material life is impossible. So we should always say we always keep good association. That's the strength of spiritual life. Actually, is all through sangha, sadhu sangha. That's what we need. And because I was thinking about, it's so valuable, because even Jesus was quoting in the Bible that what profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul. We have the human form of life. Prabhupada explains actually the human form of life is very rare throughout all the different species, and we should use this human form of life, atata brahma jigyasa, for inquiry. Like Parikshit Maharaj is asking that question. What's the most important thing? What should a man do in this world? And actually, the first priority is to understand you and get in touch with your constitutional nature, not just your conditional nature, but to find out who am I? What's this place? Where do I go? Or even on a deeper side, at a certain point, if one is, we sincerely want to find that, who am I, and who's God? Krishna, and what is my relationship based on? What is the relationship based on? Do I have to just sit back and watch, or can I participate? Because actually Krishna consciousness is participation. It's through devotional service you get a lot of realizations, and it's very important to read. It gives us the direction, and Prabhupada's guiding us, and then it's time to go out and do something as well, because we're very restless in this age. It's hard to just sit down and chant, like Prabhupada said, chant your prescribed rounds, but then go and do your service, whatever it may be. If you want to cook for Krishna, or clean for Krishna, or if you're got some good skills in the world, do that for Krishna. Always, offer it to the Lord. Because that's ultimately what we're meant to be doing. So I was just, he was talking about Srila Prabhupada, because I take my glasses on and take them back off again. My eyesight's not great at the moment. but I was thinking about, he said there's no loss in spiritual life, and explains that in Bhagavad Gita in text 240. There's in this endeavour there's no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So there's nothing ever lost, and even if we've done it's you start off from where you if anyone leaves their body and they've done some devotional service, it's the greatest benefit. In their next life, they'll take off from that point. But we don't want to keep, the goal is to not keep coming round and round in this material world. It's always suffering, Abrahma bhuva loka punaravartino arjuna. Krishna explains from the highest planet in the material world, even where Lord Brahma resides, in the heavenly planets, in the highest Brahma loka, there's still troubles. And down to the lowest planet, there's miseries, and repeated birth and death means coming round again and again. In the heavenly planets, sometimes some may attain the heavenly planets, but there's even trouble up there, because eventually you've got to die, you've got to come back down. Sometimes it's difficult to think of God up there, to remember the goal, because you've got so much opulence and everything, opulence and enjoyment, that it's difficult to focus on getting back. And then in a hellish condition and the lowest condition, and in a patala lokas, or if one falls to a lower species of life, misusing the human form of life and the mode of ignorance or something, if you're down there suffering, it's hard to focus, because you're suffering so much you can't quite focus, because you're busy trying to get relief. But then in the middle ground, like we're in Bhumaloka, in the earthly plane, there's a lot of suffering here as well, obviously, and then there's also some happiness a little bit, but there's never too much of either. Sometimes there's not so much suffering that you can't call out for God, and at the same time there's not so much happiness that you think, oh, this is so good, it's going to last forever, because it's sukha dukkha. And this, as you get to know, as you see the way the world is, it's some happiness and then boom, it's gone. Then there's distress and it's really tough, and then it's okay again. It's always changing. So it's a very impermanent situation. But the soul, our spiritual identity, that's steady. That never changes. So, and the heartbeat of the soul, the thing that, the heart may keep the body breathing, but the real heartbeat of the soul, even though it's eternal, to really get the fire ignited is chanting God's names in the age of Kali Yuga. And engaging in devotional service, because in this age of Kali, it's a real difficult age. Everything's very, especially spiritually. There's not real spiritual, not many great spiritual examples around, and there's very few. But we're very fortunate to be in a spiritual movement where there are some amazing personalities, and but to actually follow, I've lost my train of thought. I think I've got short-term memory loss. Anyway, I'm getting there. So I was just thinking on, back to the point of great examples, is to follow the examples of the great devotees, really, and actually, this is, Srila Prabhupada is given a good standard, especially in ISKCON. I'm not being too right-wing now, but just being a part of the ISKCON movement it's very protective. It's such an amazing movement to get us off the ground spiritually, and things. It's never easy in the material world, so the basic Prabhupada's teaching us to rise early and actually chant the holy name and associate with devotees and do your service, get on in Krishna consciousness, get on in a spiritual atmosphere, and you get some protection. It's real. So there was a few stories I was going to tell, but the time's gone on a little bit. I was just wondering, has anyone got any questions so far? Does anyone want to ask any questions? You don't have to, but if you want to. Oh, it was just it's just a story about, well, you know, just things like people that have fallen away from Krishna consciousness, more like just the basic stuff on Ajamil. Ajamil was, you know, we know the story in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that he was born in a Brahmin family, and he was had a very good birth. And he was born in, and he grew up very learned, but it didn't take much. He saw a woman with a man at the wrong time, and a prostitute, and he became very attracted. And he sort of lost all his principles, and